Okay. Good morning, students. Am I audible properly?
Ma'am.
Okay. Uh, Actually, sorry for disturbing you all during the weekends, even in Sundays. The thing is, since your semester is about to finish, we need to cover certain contents. We are a little bit behind the syllabus, so just wanted to complete it if before your review period starts. When is your semester ends? Do you know anything about that? Session ends, I think, with coming week. Your session will end and you will be having the review period after that. Are you do you all know about that or anything changed? Reply me. Do you know your calendar of dates? Okay, not yet informed. So I'm not sure even because it's whether it is updated to the older version. I'm not sure, but however, we will try to finish the syllabus as early as possible. Okay, so we were looking into this leadership in the previous class, and where we have completed the early theories and then move to the contingency theories, trait theory, and then behavioral theory, and we have moved to the contingency theory where the Fedler model has already been discussed. Okay, moving on to the other theory, other contingent theory. Okay, there are other theories other than the Fedler theory. There are three other theories actually. So one is the situational leadership, and the other path goal theory, and the leader participation theory. So it's not like uh, we are not going to see in very much detail as the Fedler theory. So we will just have an understanding of what each and every theories, other contingency theory states about. Okay, so through the leadership participation model of these Fedler situational theory. Okay, so the LPC theory is most widely researched contingency theory, and three other reserved mention. Oh, so we cannot say only the Fedler's model is the one that is having or received the importance in the previous literature. There are some other theories as well, even though they are not very much popular as earlier situational model. These theories are also they received a certain attention in the literature and by the previous scholars. Okay, so what does this situational leadership theory states is, so it focuses on the followers. Okay, so earlier we have seen that the situational Petler model, it tries to match the leadership style with the situation. Okay, so it says that the situation cannot be, leadership style cannot be changed. So what the option we can have to match this leadership with the situation is either we can change the situation or else we have to replace the leader. So that is what the options available for the management to make it more relevant to the situation, make it the leadership more relevant to the situation. So what does this situational leadership theory says? Its main focus is on the follower. So it says the successful leadership depends on selecting the right leadership style contingent on the followers' readiness. Okay, so this is the extent to which they are willing and able to accomplish a specific task. So this is where they are more and more focusing on the followers, and if a leadership wants to be success or a leader wants to be success, then they have to focus on the followers readiness and the extent to which they are willing and able to accomplish. So we can say the readiness as willingness and able to accomplish a task. So if the followers they have the knowledge and willingness, so this is already did we already see these theories, situational theory? Just remember that we have already completed or something. Have you already completed the situational theory? Yes. Okay. So I just quickly recap it and move on to the other parts. Okay. So if the followers are really able and if they have the knowledge and if they really wanted to do the task, the leader, he needs to like the leader doesn't want to do much with the or they don't need to like give specific instructions or like guidance or anything is not needed for the followers because they already know the task and they just wanted to do the task. And if the followers know that and if they are like unwilling, that what leader can do is they can be very supportive and they can include the followers in decision making. A participatory leadership style would be more suitable. And if they are not having the skills and knowledge to do the task, but they really wanted to engage in the task, then they can compensate the followers' lack of abilities because the ability is lacking there. So they can get the followers into the task through the high relationship orientation. And if they are really unwilling and they don't want to do the task at the same time, they don't have the skills and knowledge to engage in the task. So in that situation, the leader has to give the specific instructions or give clear instruction. Okay. So other theory is the path goal theory. So other contingency theory is developed by Robert House. It's a path goal theory. So it's also extracted some elements from the Ohio State theory, and where we have seen two different leadership styles can be adapted. One is the initiating structure, focusing on more and more on the task, and the other one is the consideration, where the leader would be concerned about the followers' needs and wants and all. So this is combining these Ohio State study and the expectancy theory. So that states that the expectancy theory, if the followers expect something, they will do something. So without the expectation of achieving a certain results, the followers would not be engaging in a particular task. So if they are expecting something only, they will engage in the particular task. So that is the path goal theory. So it's just a combination of Ohio State and the expectancy theory. And the path goal theory says that the leader's job is to provide the followers with the information, support, and other necessary resources to achieve their goals. So what is the role played by the leader in an organization is they have to give the information to the followers. So because the followers themselves they don't have the information, so leader is the one who will be possessing all the information. So what they have to do is they have to share this information among the followers, and they have to support their followers if even they are lacking in skills and knowledge, or even they don't want to engage in the task. They can motivate the followers through the support, and they have to allocate the necessary resources to complete the task. So through all of these, they can achieve the goal. So according to the path goal theory, whether a leader should be directive or supportive, should demonstrate or some other behavior depends on the complex analysis of the situation. So here also, since this contingency theory or everything else is focusing on the situation, so here also, the leadership style, whether the leader should be directive or supportive, or what kind of behavior should be demonstrated by the leader depends on the complex analysis of the situation. So directive leadership yield greater satisfaction when tasks are ambiguous and stressful than when they are highly structured and well laid out. Okay, so directive leadership in the sense, it is like giving the instruction for each and every task, giving the guidelines, guiding the employees or the followers to do every small element of the task. So whatever have to be done, it is like clearly said by the leader. The followers themselves, they are not directly engaging in the task. So leader will give the instruction. Very small instruction would be given by the leader. So when this directive leadership style is uh, suitable or it yields the highest satisfaction is when the task is ambiguous, when the tasks are not like structured and the followers doesn't know exactly what they need to do to accomplish the goal. So in such situation, leader can give the instructions or they can follow the directive leadership. Then when the structure tasks are followed. So when the tasks are highly structured, we don't need to use the directive leadership because it's already there, everything is already structured and documented. So the followers just by looking into the document, they can do the task. So in such cases, participatory leadership style would be, or the supportive leadership style would be more suitable. So when tasks are ambiguous and stressful, directive leadership is possible or it's suitable. And when tasks are really structured, then supportive leadership style would be suitable. And directive leadership style is likely to be perceived as redundant among the employees with high ability and a considerable experience. And again, in the sense, not about the task, but about when the employees or the followers have like a high level of experience and high level of knowledge in doing the task, then the leader again no need to give the clear instruction of each and every task, because they have the experience, they themselves have the knowledge, so they can engage in the task. Okay, that is the path goal theory. And then leadership participation model. So this is the Victor Broom and the Phil Pieton's leadership participation model. So that relate the behavior and participation in the decision making. So again, it here the leader and participation. So leader and follower participation is given the consideration here. Like path goal theory, it says the leader behavior must adjust to reflect the task structure. Uh, that we need to like adjust our leadership style according to the nature of the task, whether the tasks are structured or whether the tasks are unstructured, whether they are vague and ambiguous tasks are there. So the model is normative if provide the decision tree for 7 contingency and 5 leadership style for determining the form and amount of the participation. So there are there's a model which gives 7 contingency. That means how the tasks are structured are divided into 7 categories, and according to that 7 category, 5 leadership styles are there. Okay, so accordingly they can match the task structure and the leadership style. So that is what the leader participation model says. So we don't need to look into detail there. So now we are moving into the contemporary theories of leadership. Okay, so the first contemporary theory of leadership is the charismatic leadership theory. So charismatic leadership theory states that the followers make attribution of heroic and extraordinary leadership abilities when they observe certain behavior. So here what they are seeing is they are seeing their leader as a hero, and they are trying to attribute certain characteristics which a normal person cannot actually engage in. Okay, so normal person cannot actually do certain tasks, but the leader is the only person who can engage in that particular task. So that is how the followers feel. So he is like a hero, and only heroes can follow, or only heroes can complete that particular task. The other people are not able to do the task. They are not. They don't have the ability. They don't have the knowledge. They are in. They are unable to do engage in that particular task. That's how the people perceive. So they are perceiving the leaders as someone different from the normal followers. Okay. So the key characteristics of charismatic leader are vision and articulation. So they view the leader has a clear vision expressed as idealized goal. So that is the best or ideal situation the leader is expecting to have, and that proposes a future better than the status quo. So whatever the goal the leader has, that is better than the current status quo, current situation. If the leaders are having something maybe benefits, remuneration benefits is something 50,000, but leader has a goal of increasing that benefit in the future, maybe 1 lakh. So that goal or the expectation of the leader or vision of the leader uh, reflects a future which is better than the current status quo. Then the personal risk. As heroes, the leaders are expected to take the personal risk. Okay, they are willingness, or they are willingly engaging in the risk. So they take the risk, and they accept the risk, and based by tolerating and working on around that risk, they try to achieve higher returns. And then sensitive to the followers' need. So the heroes, how you are seeing the heroes in the movie. So these charismatic leaders also, they have some sensitiveness to others' needs and wants, others' expectations. They are caring about the other people. They try to fulfill the needs of the other people. So that is what usually the charismatic leaders do. Okay, so perceptive of others' ability and responsive to their needs and feelings. And final one is unconventional behavior. So these charismatic leaders are not engaging in the task which is done in a very traditional way as normal leaders. So these people will be doing certain tasks. Those are considered as unconventional, new things. Okay. So a novel thing would be introduced, or innovative behavior would be reflected by this charismatic leader. So if the leader has like vision and articulation, personal sensitive to the followers' need, and the unconventional behavior, we can consider them as a charismatic leader. Okay. Other two types of leaderships are the transactional leadership and the transformational leadership. Okay. So transactional leaders, uh, these are two different category of leadership. So transactional leaders in the means who guide and motivate the followers in the direction of established goal by clarifying the role and task requirements. So obviously, a leader is the one who tries to achieve the goal through their followers by supporting or guiding their followers. So same is happened here as well in this transactional leadership. But how they are motivating the followers, how they are guiding their followers is they just uh, allocate different roles for the followers and specify, okay, as maybe a communicator, like as a technician, for example, you are expected to do this task only. You don't need to engage in the other tasks. So this is what the expectation, this is what your role, and under this role, under this title, these are the tasks that you have to fulfill. Okay, that is how the transactional leaders will clarify the role and task requirement, and through that they are motivating and they are guiding the followers towards the achievement of the goal. And what the transformational leaders do is, in contrast, inspire the followers to transcend their self interest for the good of the organization and can have an extraordinary effect on their followers. So, here, the transformational leaders, what they are doing is, in the transactional leaders, they are not caring about the personal interests of the followers. Even the followers have a certain interest, it is not considered at all. What they are doing is they are giving the instruction, and the followers need to follow the instruction. Okay, transformational leaders, they are trying to change the followers personal interest into good of the organization. So by fulfilling your satisfaction, by fulfilling your own interest and having your own satisfaction, you are trying to do something good for the organization. Okay, so that is the transformational leaders role, and they, through that, if I'm doing something in which I'm very much interested in, and so if I'm doing something which I like to do, I will be having the personal satisfaction. And if it is the something that requires for the organizational success, organization on the other hand also earn the reputation and they will be achieving their goals. So here both party satisfaction is there. So through these they can have the extraordinary efforts. Okay, excuse me. So this transactional and the transformational leadership. So though we are saying like seeing the concepts as different from one another, actually they complement each other. They are not opposing approaches. So it says that leader gives the guidance through their role clarification and the task requirement, and here they are like transcending their self-interest to the good of the organization. So though we are saying so, but we don't see those leadership style as like uh, uh, like competing each other. So we see both approaches are not opposing each other and they are complementing each other. So transformational leadership builds on the transactional leadership and produces levels of follower effort and the performance beyond the transactional leadership alone can do. So what the transformational leadership is doing, they try to build on the transactional leadership. So they try to again clarify the roles and task requirement, but how they are clarifying the roles and how they are allocating the task to the followers is based on their self-interest. if someone is really interested in designing and all, the leader does not allocate the task to themselves, like engaging in any accounting activities. So that role is not allocated to the followers in the transformational leadership, because he is really interested in artistic work, designing work. So we can allocate the task something related to designing websites or designing advertisement and all. So what they are doing, they are building on these transactional leadership. So as a fashion maybe designer, website designer, we are giving a role as website designer, and as a website designer, we are specifying the task. Okay, these are the tasks that you are expected to do. So what they are doing, we are building on the transactional leadership, but allocating the task based on the self-interest. So transformational leadership builds on the transactional leadership and produces uh, the level of follower effort beyond the transactional leadership's alone effort. Okay, so but the reverse isn't true. But we can expect the transformational leadership to build on the transactional, but we cannot expect transactional leaders build on the transformational leadership. So that is not actually true. So if you are a good transactional leader but do not have the transformational quality, you are likely to be a mediocre leader. Okay, so even you are a good transactional leader, you can allocate the task and role very clearly, but if you don't have the transformational qualities, you will be like a mediocre leader. And the best leaders are the one who have the characteristics of both transactional and the transformational. Okay, so the next is the characteristics of both the leaders, how we can differentiate these transactional and transformational leaders. So transactional leaders, they are like contingent reward, contracts exchange of reward for effort, promises the reward for the good performance and recognizes the accomplishment. So how they are rewarding transactional leaders are how they are rewarding their followers is based on the performance. So if they are having the good performance, they will allocate the rewards. Okay, and then management by exception, the watchers and searchers for the deviation from the rules and standards take corrective action. So what they are always looking for is whether they will evaluate whether the employees are in line with the rules and regulation, whether they are following the rules and regulation, and if there is any deviation, they will try to take the corrective action. So their concern is whether there is any deviation, whether there is any exception. So that is what the consideration of these transactional leaders. So management by exception. And the next one is that is the active way, and the passive way is intervenes only if the standards are met. Okay, and the other one is they will not engage in the task, or they will not engage with the followers until everything is good, until everything is done in a proper manner. They will not be engaging, or they will not be interacting in the followers task. When they will interact, when they will intervene in followers task is when there is a deviation in the objective, or when there is deviation, or when the objectives are not met, they will be intervening in the follower's task, and they will try to do something to correct the uh, task which is deviated from the expectation. And the final one is lazy spare. So this abdicates the responsibility, avoid making decisions. So they will only allocate the responsibilities. They are not engaging, or they try to avoid the decision makings. Okay, so there is the transactional leaders. And transformational leaders, they will have the characteristics idealized influence. So they will they don't recognize these they don't give rewards for the performance and the achievement. They are not recognizing the high performance. Actually what they are seeing is provide the vision and sense of mission, and they instills the pride, gain respect and the trust. So that would be their motivation. They try to give respect, they try to develop the trust among the people. So those are their concern. And then inspirational motivation, so how they are motivating the people is to they are being the inspiration for the people. So they communicate, okay, high expectations. So we, as an organization, we should be the number one organization in our country. So that's how they communicate the expectation, high level of expectation. And the people also want to work as a people also want to make the company as the number one in the Sri Lanka, and they want to be a part of, or they want to be the member of number one company in Sri Lanka. So that's how they like communicate the expectation to the followers, and through that they are motivating the people to do the task. And then intellectual stimulation, they promote the intelligence, not just the technical things. They are promoting the intelligence, the cognitive abilities, the rationality, the problem solving. Those things are promoted among the followers. And then individualized consideration, give personal attention. So these each and every participants will be personally monitored by the leader, and they will be cared in a very personal manner. The personal attention is given to each and every follower. Okay, so these are the characteristics of the transactional leaders. And we are moving on to the other type of leadership, that is the responsible leadership. So under the responsible leadership, we can see two types of leadership. First one is authentic leadership, and the other one is we are trying to combine the ethics with the leadership, that is ethical leadership. Okay, so authentic leaders are the leaders who know who they are and know what they believe in and value, and act on those values and beliefs openly and candidly. So authentic leaders, in the sense, they really understand who they are and what is really important to them, for what thing they are giving the most value, and in which they are believing in, what are the beliefs they hold, and they just try to act on those values and beliefs openly, transparently. They work on that value. So if they are really concerned about the timing, the uh, like punctuality, like completing task on time, if that is the most important thing for the leader, that is one of the most important thing, and the leader gives the most consideration for the timely completion of the task, they will, they know that I believe in timing, I value timing, and I have to work on to complete the task on time. So they will explicitly, openly work on those things. Okay, so their followers would consider them to be the ethical people. So since they are doing everything in a very open manner, uh, whatever they value, they will do the task in a very open manner. The followers are perceiving the leader to be very ethical people, and the primary quality produced by this authentic leadership, therefore, is the trust. Okay, so what the leader is, because since he is really transparent, doing everything openly and candidly, the primary quality of this authentic leader is the trust. Okay, so trust is the primary quality which is characterizing the authentic leadership. So therefore, the authentic leader share the information, encourages the open communication, and stick to their ideals. So as a result, people come to have a faith in them. So since they are really open and they encourages open communication, and always engage in sharing the information, they are really like the people or the followers will treat them in a very trustful way. Like they will have a faith in their leaders. That is the main characteristics of the authentic leader. And the other responsible leadership type is, uh, excuse me. Okay, so other type of responsible leadership is the ethical leadership. So ethics and leadership intersect in a number of junctions. Both are these are something like leadership and ethics are something they are like interconnected to one another and like intersecting in a number of junctions and a number of things. So transformational leadership as fostering the moral virtue when they try to change the attitudes and the behaviors of the followers. Charisma too has an ethical component. So transformational leadership, charismatic leadership, so they all have a certain ethical component. Okay, so unethical leaders use their charisma to enhance the power over the followers. Okay, unethical leaders, they use their charisma, that means their own power or like own inspiration to enhance the power over the followers, and they directed towards the self-serving ends. So the charismatic leadership, what they will do is they will try to motivate the other followers through their interest, and through the self-serving ends they will try to direct the other behaviors. So ethical leaders use it in a very socially constructive way to save others. So what the ethical leadership usually do, or the what the element of ethics uh, do in every style of leadership is they try to create or try to use the leadership in a very socially constructive way. Whatever the leaders do, that will be for the benefit of the entire society, not only for the organization, not only for himself, not only for the followers. So everyone would be benefited in a to a certain extent. That is what the ethical component do in every leadership style. So leaders rated highly ethical tend to have the followers who engage in the moral organizational leadership behavior, citizenship behavior, and who are more willing to bring the problem to the leader's attention. So leaders, when they are perceived to be highly ethical one, okay, so tend to have the followers engage in more organizational citizenship behavior. So if the leaders are very much ethical, considered to be very much ethical, then what the followers will be doing is they will be engaged in citizenship behavior, organizational citizenship behavior. In the sense, they will be doing the task, or they will be doing something that is not actually a part of their job requirement. They will do something more than their job requirement. So if they are required to work maybe 9 to 5, the people will be working until 6:30 or 7. That is not their part of the role, that is not their job requirement, but for the benefit of the organization they are doing something more. So that is how the people will behave. So socialized charismatic leadership is a leadership concept that states the leader convey the value that are other centered versus self centered, and who role model the ethical conduct. So there is another leadership style or like concept called social charismatic leadership. So here what they are doing is they are combining the ethical component with the charismatic leadership, and that states leader has the value, but that values are other centered, not the organization centered or self centered value. Other centered in the sense focusing on the others' needs, others' value, others' benefits. That is the other centered leadership style. So this is the ethical component, ethical leadership. Okay. Moving on to the other final part of the chapter, one more ethical leadership style is there, and we will move to the positive leadership. So responsible leadership, under the third category of responsible leadership, is the servant leadership. Okay, servant leadership is something focusing always on the followers, being a servant for the followers, not focusing on the leader's benefit, not focusing on the organizational benefit. What they are focusing on, more than the own interest, they will be focusing on the opportunities, or the through which how they can help their followers. So how they can develop their followers, how they can give some opportunities for the followers to grow up. So that is what the focus of this servant leadership. Okay, servant leadership is a leadership style marked by going beyond the leader's own self-interest. So leader's own self-interest is not considered at all. Their focus will be only on the followers development and followers growth only. So these servant leaders don't use power to achieve the ends, they emphasize the persuasion. So since the uh, servant leaders are focusing on the followers growth and development, they will not be using the power at all. So what they are doing, they are using the persuasion. So if they want to make the followers to do something, they are not forcing them through the rules and regulation. They will persuade, they will try to convey the expectations to the followers, and through the persuasion, they will try to get the task done by the followers. That is the servant leadership. So, what are the effects of the servant leadership has on the followers? High level of commitment to the supervisor, self-efficacy, and the perception of justice, which all were related to the organizational citizenship behavior. Okay, so what the followers will do, they will really committed to the supervisor, and through that commitment, they will be engaging in organizational citizenship behavior. That is the behaviors which are going beyond the requirement of the job. Okay, so that is the first effect. Second one, servant leadership increases the team potency. So it increases the belief that team has the above average skills and abilities. So rather than doing the task alone, if we are working as a team, uh, we can have the greater impact, or they have the performance which is more than the combination of individual, or more than the summation of the individual performance. So that is the second effect that servant leadership has. And the third one, high level of citizenship associated with the focus on the growth and the advancement, which in turn was associated with high level of creative performance. So here, high level of citizenship behavior, as I already said, one of the outcome of the servant behavior is the servant leadership style is the citizenship behavior by the followers. They will be doing more than the requirement. Okay, so these are the servant leadership characteristics or the effects. And moving on to the final part of this chapter, trust and leadership, we are trying to interconnect the trust with the leadership. So, trust is a psychological state that exists when you agree to make yourself vulnerable to the another, because you have the positive expectation about how things are going to turn out. So, trust, if we want to define what is trust, it's a psychological state. It's a psychological state of an individual, and which exists when you try to make yourself vulnerable. That means you will try to uh, uh, give yourself to the other people because of the positive expectation about how things are going to turn out. So you will be having something, if you are trusting someone, or if you are trusting something, some activity or task, you will be expecting a positive expectation, a positive outcome from that, and as a result of it, you will be making yourself vulnerable to that task. So followers who trust a leader are confident in their rights and interests will not be abused. So if I am trusting my leader, I have a confidence, my own rights will not be abused. Okay, my interest will not be abused. So the leader will not do anything against myself, against my rights and against my interest. That is what the trust the followers has on the leader. So how trust is developed, there are three things or three characteristics lead us to believe a leader trustworthy. So if these three characteristics are there, we can trust our leader. So this is how the trust is developed. The first one is the integrity. So integrity in the sense honesty and truthfulness. So if the leader is really honest, and if they are only conveying the true matters and the truthfulness is there, obviously the trust can be developed. The second characteristic is the benevolence. That means uh, the trusted person has your interest at hand, and even if you are not necessarily in line with theirs, caring, supporting behaviors are the part of the emotion. So if you are really interested in designing, whenever the leader makes a decision, that will be in their mind. Whenever the task are allocated, your interest will be in their mind. So that is the benevolence. And again, caring and supporting behavior is also a part of the benevolence. And if that is there, usually the followers will trust the leader. And then ability encompasses the individual technical and interpersonal knowledge and skills. So if the individual has technical and the interpersonal knowledge and skills, the ability is there. And if the integrity, benevolence, and ability is there for a leader, then automatically the followers will trust that particular leader. Okay, so we can through this concept, we can formulate a model called the trust model. So integrity, benevolence, and ability, everything lead to the trust. Okay, and that trust can result in risk taking, information sharing, group effectiveness and the productivity can also be increased. Okay. So what are the consequences of the trust? As I already said, the leaders and the people will be encouraged to take the risk. They will facilitate the information sharing between the leaders and the followers, and the groups are really effective, and the overall productivity of the group and the organization will be increased. Okay. And the final part of this positive leadership is the mentoring. Okay. So mentor is something little vary from the leader. Okay. So we cannot say, or we cannot actually use the term and leader and the mentor interchangeably. A small difference is there. So mentor is a senior employee who sponsors and support a less experienced employee or a protege. Okay. So here he is not actually a leader giving the instructions and the guidance, but he is like, if you are going into an organization as a fresher, there will be a person who is already working for that particular organization, maybe for years, maybe 5 years, 6 years experience, or maybe 10 years experience. He is working for that particular organization. So he will use to guide you, he will use to teach you the task, how it can be done. He will support you. So he will guide you. So those are the things will be done by the senior employee. So that senior employee is called as the mentor for the junior employee. Okay, so the person who has experience and who supports and sponsors the less experienced new people. So the successful mentors are the good teachers actually, and they present ideas clearly, listen well, empathize their teach problem mentoring. So what they will do is they will like guide the new employee, they will try to teach them, and if they have any issues or any problems, they will consider about those issues and they will try to solve those issues, try to support in solving those issues. That is done by the mentoring people, mentor. So mentoring relationships serve both the career functions and the psychological function. So not only the career tasks are like taught by the people, taught by the mentor, but also the psychological like components like negative feelings, positive feeling would be created among these new employees, and new employees like if they have any issues, any fear and all, so they will like try to eliminate those kind of things. That is the role played by the mentor. Okay, this is all about the leadership chapter. Anything to ask? Any clarification? Is it clear? Any clarification? Is it clear? Yes, ma'am. Okay, thank you for the response. So, as I already informed, you will be having your mid-semester examination tomorrow, right? Do you all remember? It will be like LMS quiz examination. Okay. So, what time it is informed? 11, right? Okay. So, the same time you will be having your quiz examination. You have to look into the quiz and you can do the examination. It's just a 1 hour examination with 40 MCQ. So, if you don't have any issues or any clarification, we will have just a 5 minutes break and we will move on to the other chapter, chapter 12. Okay. Just have a break and come back. Okay, shall we start? So tomorrow, since we are having the mid-semester examination, you don't have the presentation. Okay, so presentation will be done. You can do your presentation on Wednesday. If possible, tomorrow I will take the lectures. Okay, and is it okay if I can take the lectures on Tuesday as well? If I'm not able to take lectures tomorrow, uh, I will take lectures on Tuesday. Is it okay for you all? Please let me know. Just the lectures. Presentation, you can do it on Wednesday. Okay, okay. Thank you for the response. Uh, okay. So now we are moving on to the chapter 12, that is the power and politics. So this is like a small chapter while comparing with others. So I like hope to finish it within today. I have already uploaded the notes for chapter 11, which just we have completed just now. Okay, it's already uploaded in the LMS. No, it's not yet. I will upload it in the LMS today. So if possible, if we are finishing this chapter also, I will upload both the chapters today. Okay, so the specific objectives or the learning objectives of this particular chapter, power and politics, are these. Okay, define the power and contrast the leadership and the power. So since we have already completed leadership, and we will try to define what is power. The power and the leadership are something different to one another. Both are not the same, so we will try to compare and contrast the power and leadership, and then contrast five bases of power. So there are five different bases through which a person, an individual, can gain the power, and explain the role of independence, role of dependence in the power relationship, because the dependence is the one which creates the power to someone, and uh, he can influence or he can use the power over someone else. So we will try to explain the role the dependents play in creating the power, and then identify power tactics. There are nine different ways in which we can translate the power into practice. So we will try to understand those, and show the connection between the sexual harassment and the abuse of the power. So the sexual harassment and the power abuse, like both are something interconnected. So we will try to see those and identify the causes and consequences of the political behavior. So now we are moving on to the political part. So that is like undesirable power imposed on the other people. So we will try to understand what causes the political behavior and what are the consequences of it. And finally, we will try to understand something about the impression management. So we will try to impress the people all the time, and if we want to do that in organizational context of the workplace, how we can do that, and what are the techniques we can use to impress the other people, especially the top management or top people. Okay, so now we try to understand what is power. So power refers to the capacity that A has to influence the behavior of B, and B acts according to the A's wish. So A, if I have the power, then I can make my friend to do whatever I wish to do. If I want the person B to complete an assignment for myself, if I have an assignment and if I don't have the time to do that, if I want my friend to complete that assignment for me, then if I have the power, I can do that. Okay, I can let my friend to complete the task for myself. That is the power. If A has the influence, uh, the behavior of B, then B acts in accordance. If I can influence my friend's behavior and my friend acts or do whatever I wanted to do, whatever I tell him to do, then I have a power over my friend. That is what the power. Okay. So someone does have power but not use it. It is the capacity or the potential. So someone sometimes I can have the power on my friend over my friend, but I don't use it all the time. So it's not necessary I need to use it, but I have that power. If I tell him, he will definitely do that. That is my power. But I don't tell him to do a particular task or do something for myself. That's up to my choice. But if he will do that. It's the power. Okay, so it is the potential. So probably the most important aspect of the power is the dependence. So why he is doing my task, or why he is doing whatever told by myself, is because it may be because of the trust, or maybe the relationship that we have, or the friendship that we have, if it is in case of a friend. But why the people in an organizational context do whatever told by the boss is because they are dependent on the boss. They are dependent on the top management. The top management is the one, they are employing them, other people, and they are the one giving the remuneration or the salaries to the other people. The low level employees are dependent on the top management. That's why they are completing the task, or they are dependent on, they are doing whatever told by the top management. So what creates the power is the dependent. So dependent is B's relationship to A. If A is the top management, B is the lower level employee, then what is dependent is B's relationship to A. When A possesses something that B require, if the other person possesses something I require, whatever told by the other person, I will do that. If he require, like he has some information with himself, if I require that information, and he says that if I want to give you this information, you have to complete this task for myself. So then I am dependent on the information, I dependent on the other person, so I will complete the task. That is the dependence. So greater the dependence, B is dependent on A's power in the relationship. So if I am dependent on greater, the B is dependent on A will be having greater power over B. So dependent in turn is based on the alternatives that B perceive and the importance B plays on the alternatives controls. Okay, so if an employee, low level employee, B, we consider the B as the low level employee, and if the B has other alternative options, even the A terminates himself, or like take off himself from the job. If B has other alternative like joining the other organization, uh, even though A says something or requires something B to do, but he can, B can sometimes refuse to do the task, because if they don't like, or if they don't really wanted to do the task, B can refuse that, and as a result of refusal, A can terminate B from the employment. So even the B is terminated, B will join some other organization, because B has the alternative. So if alternative is there, A's power would be really low. But if B doesn't have any alternative, this is the only job the B has, and this is the only way to earn the job, or earn the money. And if the entire family of the B depends on B, it depend on the income earned by the B, then the importance of the salary given by A would be really more. So B, the salary is important, and B has no alternative at all. Then A has more power over the B. Okay, so this is how the power is created, and how it is created is because of the dependence. Okay, so as I already said, the power and the leadership are not the same. There are some differences. Okay, so leader, they use the power as a mean of attaining a group of goals. So leader use the power as a mean of attaining the group goals. But here the two terms are different in the following ways. The power does not require the goal compatibility, but leader is what he is doing. The leader's goal is and the followers goal, both are same. Okay, both will be performing the same goal, and the goal compatibility in the sense, leaders goal and the followers goal should be matched with each other. In the leadership, both will be working toward the same goal for the benefit of the organization. But in the power, that goal compatibility does not require. A can have different goal, B can have different goal, but at the same time, A can have the power over B. Here, even the goals are different, the power A has some power over B. So power does not require this goal compatibility. Okay. Second one relates to the direction of influence. So here, leadership focuses on the downward influence on the followers. It minimizes the importance of the lateral and the upward influence, but the power does not. Okay. So here, usually leadership, how it is done is from the top to bottom. Leadership is top to bottom only. like the direction would be happen. The leader would be giving the guidance and the instruction. So he will be at the top of the organization, and the followers might be at the low level of the organization. And the direction of the leadership would be top to bottom, okay, downward relationship. But when it comes to the power, even the lower level employee can influence the uh, top level management if the lower level employee has something required by the top level management. Not only the salary, the lower level people depends on the salary and the employment on the top management. If the lower level employee have the expertise, and if he is the only one, excuse me. Okay, so the focus is so leadership is focused on the downward relationship, but the power it is not the one. So if you are the one have the technical expertise to complete all these tasks, and you can have the power over the leadership, top management. You can negotiate with themselves. Like if you are not giving this much of salary, I will be leaving the organization. So here you have some power because of your technical expertise. So the power does not require the direction. Downward direction is not required for the power. And it's still another difference is the leadership research for most emphasize the style. It seek answer to the question like how supportive the leader should be, and how much decision should be shared with the followers. In contrast, the research on power focuses on the tactics for gaining the compliance. So here leadership research, they always focus on the styles, but power leadership, it focus on the tactics for the gaining compliance. So this is not much enough, much important. So you can skip this even. So how it is different is power doesn't require the goal compatibility, and the power doesn't require the direction also. Okay, direction of influence also not required for the power. But leadership, it requires the both of these things. Goal compatibility and the direction of influence are required for the leadership. This is how the power and leadership is differentiated from one another. Okay. Then we are moving on to the power bases. As I already said, how this power is created is through five different bases. So five different ways or five different things can create the power for someone over the other people. So basis of for the sources of power can be broken into two general grouping, formal and personal grouping. Under the formal grouping, we can have two things, and under the informal grouping, we can have two things. Okay. So altogether, there are five different groups. Okay. Five different ways in which the power can create it. So the first is, or the first category is the formal, and under the formal, the first thing is the coercive power. Coercive power means it depends on the fear of the negative results from failing to comply. So here, how the power is created. If I'm not doing whatever said by my boss, I will be facing the negative consequences. Sometimes the boss will fire myself from the organization. He will terminate my employment. So because of that fear of losing my job, I will do whatever required by the job, whatever said by the job, whatever instructed by the boss. That is what the coercive power. So, for example, how the parents can have the power over their children if the children are not doing whatever said by or instructed by the parents, they can punish their children. Okay, So here the punishment, because of the negative consequences is the punishment. So because of the fear of this punishment, maybe hit by the parents or something, the children will follow the instruction of the parents. That is the coercive power. Okay. So coercive power base depends on the fear or the negative results from failing to comply. So it results on the application or the threat of the application or the physical sanction such as the infliction of pain, frustration through the restriction of the movement or controlling by force of a basic psychological or the safety needs. Sometimes they may like restrict their psychological and safety needs component and all. So at the organizational level, A has coercive power over B. If A can dismiss, suspend, or denote B, assuming B values his or her job. How this coercive power is explained in organizational context is he can dismiss or terminate the employee or like demote rather than like promoting. He can demote to a low level position. So suspend his or her employment for some period of time. So if those can be done by the boss, then the boss can have the coercive power over B. So coercive power can also come from withholding the key information, not only this the power over the job dismission or suspension or demotion. So with the key by having the key information or the withholding the key information can also create the power, coercive power over the other people. So people in an organization who have data or knowledge others need can make those others dependent on them. So if the people in an organization have the information which everyone else in the organization is searching for or is expecting, then the person who is possessing the information can have the power over the other people. This is the first base of power, that is the coercive power. It is one of the formal power bases. Second formal power base is the reward power. So reward power is the opposite of the coercive power is the reward power, with which the people comply because it produces the positive benefit. So here it is the opposite. So if we are not doing something which the boss require, the boss will demote myself or maybe suspend or terminate my employment. But reward power is if why I am doing something which is said by the instructed by the boss is if I complete this task, the boss will promote myself to a better position, or he will give the incentives or praise or something would be there. We are expecting some beneficial outcome for performing the task. That is the reward power. Okay. So these reward can either financial, maybe increasing the pay rate, raises, or the bonuses, or like non-financial recognition, promotion, interesting work assignment. So if I complete this assignment, he will be doing some he will be assigning some tasks which is really interesting. I really wanted to do that task. So then such cases the people will do. So that is the reward power. So cozy power and reward power are opposite to one another. And the next type of formal power is the legitimate power. So legitimate power is an informal group and organization. Probably the most common access to one or more of the power bases is through the legitimate power. So this is the through the formal authority. Because of the position as a general manager, he has some power over the other people. Not because of the information, not because of the punishment or the reward, because of the name as the general manager, he has some power. So after the retirement, he will lose that power, and someone who come to that particular position will get that power. That is the legitimate power. So it represents the formal authority to control and use the organizational resources based on the structural position in the organization. So how it is created, legitimate power, it is based on the structural position in the organization. So if I'm being the legitimate power, if I have the legitimate power as a result of being the general manager of an organization, I will be having the access to many resources. Maybe I can have my own vehicle. I can use the vehicle, office vehicle for my own use. So that's the power, that access I will be having. And through that access, I am earning some kind of power. That is the formal power basis. And moving on to the personal power basis, there are two: expert power and the referent power. Okay. So expert power means it influences the wielded as a result of the expertise or the special skill or the knowledge I have. So if I am the one who can only handle a particular software, oh, I'm the only one who has the knowledge of software development in that particular company, I can have a certain power over the other people in the company, even the top management. I can negotiate the top management for the better salary because I am the only one who is able to operate that particular software. So that is how it is created. It's because of the expertness or expertise I have. Okay, so that is the expert power. So it is generally acknowledged that physicians like doctors have the expertise and hence expert power. Most of us like follow the doctor's advice. We don't like question whatever the pills or whatever the medicine suggested by the doctor. Why you are giving this? Why? What is the need of this? So we don't even suggest or we don't even question, and we will try to follow the doctor's instruction because doctors only have the expertise about the diseases and the illness. We don't have that knowledge. That's why we are depending on the doctors for their expertise. So how it is created is through their expertise. Okay, and other people like computer specialists, tax accountants, economists, industrial psychologists, those people can also have the power over the other people through their expertise. And the next type of personal power is the referent power. So referent power is the identification with a person who has desirable resources or the personal traits. So here, sometimes some person may have certain resources which is required by the other people, desired by the other people, or sometimes my personal traits. For example, like how the celebrities have the power over their followers or maybe their fans is because of their characteristics. So the personal traits, the other people value that personal traits. Because of the value given by the other people on the personal traits, that celebrities and the cricket players or the sports fans have some power over their fans. Okay. So that is the referent power. Is it clear? What are the power bases? Five different bases. So referent power and expert power are the informal power bases. The other three are the formal power bases. Anything to ask? Any clarification? Any clarification? Is it clear? Okay, if it is clear, we will move to the other parts. That is how this dependence creates the power. So, as we already seen, dependence is the one that gives the power to one person over the other people. So, that is the key in creating this power. So, the general dependence postulate. Let's begin with the general postulates. Okay, so like the B is greater, the B is dependent on A, the more A has power over B. So this is what we have already seen. So when you possess anything others require that you alone control, you make them dependent on you. So if you have something, maybe what the information or any item that everyone else wants, but they don't have, then they will be dependent on yourself. Okay. So here you can have the power over the other people, dependence. So if something is plentiful, if something is available to everyone, then we cannot have the power because of those things, because of the possession of that particular thing we cannot have power because that is plentiful, is available to everyone else. Conversely, the more you can expand your own option, the less power you place in the hands of the others. And if you can expand the options also, if we can use the alternatives also, the power will be reduced. Okay, so it also explains why so many aspire to financial independence. Like independence reduces the power others can wield who can limit our access to the opportunities and resources. So if we have the financial independence, we can buy whatever the things or we can have the things we wanted to. So others cannot impose the power. They cannot use the power over myself. Okay, so that is the dependence. Okay, so what creates this dependent? There are three factors by which the dependence can be created. The first one is importance. So if I am perceiving something important, which is possessed by the other people, maybe my friend, then only I will be dependent on the other people. If the thing that is possessed by my friend is not important for myself, then the friend cannot have the power over myself. Okay. So if nobody wants what you have, it's not going to create the dependent. They will not require me. They will not dependent on me because that is not required. That is not important for themselves. So because the organization, for instance, actively seek to avoid uncertainty, we should expect that individual or group that can absorb the certainty will be perceived as controlling an important resource. Okay, so importance is the one that is creating the power or the dependence. Okay, so dependence, which in turn create the power. The other one is scarcity. If everyone has everything, then no one will be dependent on the other people. If the scarcity is there, only one person have something and everyone else wants that particular thing only, other people will dependent on the person who is having that particular thing. So here scarcity is there only, the dependence will be created. Then the non-substitutability, even though I require something my friend possesses, if I don't have that thing, if I can use something else, maybe some alternative instead of that, then I won't be dependent on my friend. So here the power will not be created or dependence will not be created. In turn, power will not be created. So if the dependent need to be created, then three things are important. Three things need to be there. One is importance, second one scarcity, third one is the non-substitutability. Okay, so these are the three things which can create the power. Moving on to the other thing of this power and politics, that is the power tactics. Okay, the final part of these power tactics. So the power tactics, we can like other things by which the individual can translate the power bases into specific action. So, if we ask the question, what is power tactics? We have already seen there are power bases: cozy power, reward power, legitimate power, expertise power, referent power. So, there are five different bases of power. So, how these bases can be translated into specific action? So that is what called as the power tactics. So we can specify or identify nine different power tactics. One is relying on our authority position or saying a request accordance with the organizational policies and rules. So how they can we can use the legitimate power is one of the ways to legitimacy. So if the organization have rules and regulation, through that rules and regulation, we can ask the our followers or our lower level employee to complete certain tasks. That is the legitimacy. Second one is the rational persuasion. So if we have the power, we can persuade the other people to complete particular task. So in order to persuade, we can use some logical arguments and we can provide some evidences for the people, and through that provisions and thing and all, we can make the other people to complete certain tasks. And then inspirational appeal. Inspirational appeal in the same, developing the emotional commitment, like by appealing the target's value, needs, hopes, and aspirations. So how the people can use this power, maybe low level employees can use this power over top level management. They can uh, say something, or they can create the emotional support by, if the boss requires some emotional support, we can go and tell them or support them when they are really down emotionally. So through that we can get the power, or we can create the power over the other people. That is the inspirational appeal. Consultation is the next one, increasing target support by involving him or her in deciding you will accomplish your plan. Okay, so how we can make the other people, like whenever we are deciding something, we can involve them in the decision and get their ideas and all, and we can ask how you are going to complete your plan or accomplish your plan, and through that consultation we can influence the other people. And the next one is the exchange, rewarding the target with the benefits or the favors in exchange for following a request. So for example, the boss can say, if you complete this task, you will be rewarded maybe 100,000. So through that exchange, the reward is given to the low level employee, and low level employee is completing the task for the top level management. So exchange is done. And the next one is the personal appeal, asking for the compliance based on the friendship or the loyalty. So you are not you we are not asking for the people or comply with the rules and regulation. because of the friendship and the loyalty we have, we are asking them to comply. So, like we used to say, our friend, you are my friend. No, so can you please do this task for myself? So those kind of things is called as the personal appeal. And the next one is the ingratiation. So this is like using the flattery, praise, and the friendship behavior prior to making a request. So if you want to ask for a leave from a boss, even before asking the leave, you can like say the boss like you are looking, maybe if it is a lady boss, you are looking really pretty today, wearing a very pretty sari and all. So you can like praise them, and after sometimes you can after some days you can go and ask for a leave. So because of the praise and the like appeal you have already made, the boss will be reluctant to reject your appeal or reject your request for a leave. So that is called as the ingratiation. And the pressure using warnings, repeated demands, and the threats. Like we can use the warnings. If you are not completing this task, I will terminate you from the employment. So that is how the bosses can warn the people and get the task done. That is called as the pressure. And final one is coalition. Coalition in the sense getting support of the other people rather than going and asking for a pay increase alone. We can get the support of our trade union, and as a union we can go and ask. So then the top management obviously agree for the statement or agree for the request. That is the coalition. So these are the 9 different ways by which we can translate the 5 different power bases into specific action. Okay. The next one is the uh, sexual harassment, that is unequal power in the workplace. Then the final part of this power is, before moving into the politics, is the sexual harassment and the unequal power. So sexual harassment is a wrong thing, and it can also costly to the employees. So it's not only like physically harassing the employees, even the harassment, verbal sexual harassment is also wrong. Okay, so that can have some costly things to the employees. In addition to the legal dangers, so sexual harassment is legally prohibited. So if someone is engaging in the sexual harassment, if the second person complains, he will be punished, legally punished. So in addition to that legal punishment, uh, it affects the job attitudes and lead to those who feel harassed to withdraw from the organization. If I feel someone is sexually harassing myself, so I don't want to work for that particular organization. I will be planning, or I will be thinking about leaving the organization and joining somewhere else, because the sexual harassment is really sensitive, and with that I don't want to work for that organization. So in many cases, reporting sexual harassment, even though I'm harassed, I won't go and report, or I won't go and complain against the other person, because as a culture, it is not like accepted by the other people, and people will left unhelpful. So when an organization leaders make honest effort to stop the sexual harassment, then outcome are much more positive. So what we have to do is, or what the organization has to do is, they have to take some policies or implement some policies to stop this sexual harassment at the workplace. So sexual harassment is defined as any unwanted activity of a sexual nature that affects an individual employment and create a hostile working environment. So that is the unwanted activity of a sexual nature. Okay, so even though someone is verbally harassing the other people, if the second person don't want to have a conversation, and the other first person pushing them to involved in a sexual verbal conversation, that is also the sexual harassment, and which creates some effects on the individual employment, and make the working environment really hostile. Okay, so but disagreement continues about what specifically constitutes the sexual harassment. So, but the issue is what is considered as a sexual harassment. So, organization, they have generally made the progress towards limiting overt form of sexual harassment, like overt form. If it is explicitly seen that sexual harassment, like pulling off the hands of the other people, maybe having the unwanted touch and all, maybe male people having the unwanted touch on these female people, or like commenting on the dresses and the other thing. So those explicitly things are usually organization has policies, but it includes the unwanted physical touching, recurring request for the dates. If a male employee go and ask the female employee maybe for a date, uh, for an outing, if the female employee is not willing to take part, then that is also considered as a sexual harassment. Okay, so problem today are likely to surface around more subtle form of the sexual harassment. So if it is explicitly known, we can like reduce it, we can eliminate it in the from. But the issue is those are very much subtle that implicitly they are in the organization. The people in the organization may not aware even that harassment is there. So that is the issue. Okay, like unwanted looks or comments, off-color jokes, sexual artifacts like pin-ups posted in the workplace, and misinterpretation of where the line between being friendly ends and the harassment begins. Okay, so sometimes we can uh, consider as friendly jokes, and if that exceed the limits, that becomes the harassment. So that is the issue. Okay, so which indicates the harassment in an organization. So most studies confirm that the concept of the power is central to understanding the sexual harassment, and this seems true when harassment comes from a supervisor, a co-worker, and the employee. So most of the studies are interconnected this power and the sexual harassment, because if the people have more and more power only, they will be really engaging in the sexual harassment. So the sexual harassment is more likely to occur when there are large power differentials. So when the job has all the power, when the boss has all the power, top management has all the power, and lower level employees are left with no power at all, then there is a more chance for the sexual harassment. That is how the harassment and the power are interlinked with each other. Okay, so this is all about the sexual harassment. So what we can do as a manager to like protect the people from the sexual harassment. First one, make an active policy defines what constitute the sexual harassment. So we have to make a policy. Okay, like asking for a date is considered as sexual harassment. Maybe unwanted touch is considered as sexual harassment. So we have to make a list of policy which constitute the sexual harassment. Then only when an employee come and complain about the sexually harassed thing, then we can take action. If not, if the policy is not there, we cannot take action against. So pressure reassure the employee will not encounter retaliation if they file a complaint. So if a female employee goes and complain about the sexual harassment done by top level manager, then we have to make sure the female employee does not affected because of complaint against the top management. So that has to be made sure. They investigate every complaint and informal legal and human resource department. So we have to investigate. Even though female employee files a complaint, we should not just rely on that complaint and take action immediately. We have to investigate every complaint. Sometimes the issue may be with the female employee even. So we should not be biased towards the female. We have to investigate every complaint thoroughly, and then only we have to take action and make sure the offenders are disciplined or terminated. So once it is proved that one person has sexually harassed the other people, we have to take serious action against them, maybe terminating that particular person from the employment, or some disciplinary action have to be taken. So if we left themselves without taking any action, the people in future will not come and complain about these things. And set up an in-house seminar to raise the employee awareness of the sexual harassment issues. And we have to set up the seminars, workshops, and all to raise the awareness of the people about the sexual harassment. Okay, so this is all about the power. Is it clear? Anything to ask? Now we are to moving on to the other part of the chapter, that is the politics. Anything to ask in power? Any doubts? Is it clear? Okay, thank you. A small section remaining in this chapter. We will complete that also. Let me check. Okay, so the next part of the chapter is the politics, power and politics. So now we have already completed the power part and moving on to the politics section. So political behavior in an organization, this is not the national politics, this is the organizational politics. Okay, so the politics happening within the organizational context. So political behavior are the activities that are not required as a part of the person's formal role in the organization, but that influence or attempt to influence the distribution of the advantages and disadvantages within the organization. So, political behavior, this is not the national politics. So, whenever I ask questions in the exam paper regarding these politics, uh, students misunderstood the question and they start writing about the national politics, their political parties and all. That is not the case here. This is all about the organizational politics. Okay, so organizational politics are the activity which is not required as a part of the person's formal role. If you are being a manager of the organization, you if some kind of activities you are doing is not a part of your role as a manager, but that activities are influencing or attempt to influence how the advantages and disadvantages are distributed among the people. So, as a manager, if you are in a position to select people for the promotion, and if you select the people who are really favored to yourself without consideration of their performance, their qualification, and all, then you will be engaging in the political behavior, and that political behavior determines the distribution of the advantage. Promotion is an advantage of the people, and you are distributing that advantage. Distribution is affected because of your political behavior. So, political behavior is outside the specific job requirement. So, it is not a part of the job requirement, it is outside the specific job requirement, and it requires some attempt to use the power bases also. Why we are considering the political behavior here is, if you want to use this political behavior, you have to use this power to some extent. So it includes the effort to influence the goal, criteria, or processes used for the decision making. So our definition is broad enough to include varied political behaviors such as withholding the key information, like sometimes the people may share certain information with only a particular group of people. The other people will left behind without sharing the information. So that is one of the thing. And joining coalition, in the organizational context, people used to form gangs and they try to act as a gang, and the people who are not in that particular gang will be affected or they will be cornered by that particular gang. And then whistleblowing in the sense, people used to complain about the other people, and then spreading the rumors are spread about the people among the organization, leaking the confidential information to the media. So people used to leak some of the confidential information about the organization to the media, to the other people, exchanging the favors with others in the organization for the mutual benefits, maybe uh, losing the confidential information, like some market information, some confidential information of the organization to the competitors. So those can be also considered as the examples of this political behavior. Okay, so what are the factors which contributes these political behavior is, there are two set of factors. The first one is the individual factors and the second one is the organizational factors. So all two set of factors will contribute to the political behavior, and this, as a result of this political behavior, some people will receive the rewards and the other people will like receive the punishment. So what are the individual factors contribute is high self monitors, uh, internal locus of control, how much of the control they have, and the people, how marked personality tend to, like people really masculine personality and they are Machiavellism personality, they try to use the high political behavior, organizational investment, perceived job alternatives, and the expectation of success. All these things will contribute the people to engage in the political behavior. And the organizational factors like reallocation of the resources, the promotion opportunity, low trust, when the role ambiguity is there, and the performance evaluation system is unclear, zero sum reward practices, democratic decision making, high performance pressure. So these are the some factors contributing to the political behavior. You don't need to have a clear, detailed understanding of it. Just know the factors contributing to the behavior. So how people react to these or respond to these organizational politics is sometimes job satisfaction of the people will be really low. They will be facing the anxiety and the stress. The turnover among the people would be really increasing, and the performance of the people will be reduced. Okay, so these are the some reaction of the organizational politics. So now we are moving on to the final part of the section, that is the impression management. So impression management in the sense that is how you are going to impress the second person. So it is a process by which the individual attempt to control the impression of the others uh, for of them. So here, how we are like controlling is you are trying to control how the other people develop the impression of yourself. So you are trying to control that impression in a very favorable manner towards yourself. So how you can make the people to think about yourself in a very favorable manner, you can use the impression management techniques. The first one is conformity. Conformity in the sense, whatever the other people say, you just agree to their point of view. Even you are not agreeing with, actually, you are not agreeing with the point, but you don't actually express that disagreement. You just say, okay, this is fine, this has to be done. Okay, I agree with your point. So that is the conformity. Whatever the people say, you just agree. So that is one of the impression management technique. Second one, doing favors. For example, giving something or something like ingratiation, doing some favors or help for the other people, and through that you are trying to develop a better impression of yourself in their minds. For example, a person tried to like prospective clients, I got 2 tickets to the theater tonight that I can use, so take them. So just giving a ticket to the other people as a reward, a prospective client, he will try to create the impression in the minds of the client. Okay, this is a really nice person, and I had to buy something from the person and all. So third one is the excuses. Even you are not failure to even you fail to achieve or do some task, you just ask for the failures. You just ask for the excuses, like how you, if you fail to attend the mid-semester examination, for example, the people, students in the earlier, but they used to come and ask I gone for a hospital or gone for a funeral house, and that's why I couldn't attend the mid-semester examination. Can you please repeat this examination and all? So this is some kind of excuse that the people used to ask for their failures, and then apologize. Even like an employee says to his boss, "I'm sorry, I made a mistake on the report. Please forgive me." Just ask for the forgiveness or apologizing for the mistake made by yourself. So even though you made the mistake, since you apologize, since you agree that you have committed a mistake, the people don't have a negative impression on yourself, they will be forming a positive impression. And the next one is the self promotion. So whenever you are meeting a new person, you try to say your achievements, what you are really excel in, your expertise, so you will be promoting yourself. So that is the self promotion. So this is one of the main impression management technique which is used in the interviews, because interviews, you have to promote yourself, you have to defend yourself, you have to make the other people feeling better about yourself. So you are promoting yourself, so that is called as the self promotion. The next one is the enhancement. So here, for example, claiming that something you did more valuable than most of the other members. So you just compare with the other people in the organization and say that while comparing with other people, I have done this and this is the most important thing, and this is really done very well. So you have to creating the minds of the other people, you are the better person, you are completing every task in a very well manner. So that is the enhancement. And the next one is the flattery. Flattery in the sense complementing the other people's work. Okay, so if they have done something, if they have done wearing a dress, you just go and say you are wearing a very, very pretty dress in this pretty dress today, and you are the one having only a better dressing sense in the organization. You just flattery. You just compliment their action. That is the flattery. And the final one is doing more than you need to do, and showing the extra effort. If you need to work maybe 9 to 5, you can work until 6 o'clock, and you can create in the minds of the employee you are a hardworking employee, and you are working with the organization more than the working hours. So that kind of creation you can create. So this is the impression management technique the employee can use in an organization. So this is about the power and politics. So anything to ask? Any clarification? Is it clear? Is it clear or not? If it is clear, we can wind up the session. Thank you everyone for joining. And you will be having your mid-semester examination as informed tomorrow, and I will inform about the lecture through your rep tomorrow. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.